Hey yo, what is up FPG fam? Further here, and I just wanted to simply talk about why I think ZZZ Endless Zone Zero is absolutely peak at the moment. For me personally, I think this game is incredible. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I am tremendously addicted at the moment, and I just wanted to give the reasons why, kind of as like a returning player to the game for patch 1.4 and Miyabi and everything that's been happening, and why I've been enjoying this game so much, and why I think currently, now this is just my opinion, maybe a hot take, I think ZZZ Endless Zone Zero is one of the best gacha games on the market currently. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. I do hope you enjoyed today's video. Let's go ahead and hop into it with a bit of a lore and backstory of my history with the game. I was in some of the closed betas, played the game on launch, but did fall off. 6 months of IRL stuff that was happening. I was not content creating in general for that time period, but with ZZZ, I kind of fell out of it because of the TV system, you know, taking you out of the immersion of the game and some other things that were happening that I just didn't enjoy the game that much. Gameplay was always top tier for me, but those things, the cons were outweighing the pro at that time. So I wasn't playing ZZZ for a very long time, and then I was getting a lot of good news or feedback about patch 1.4 and Miyabi and all of that good stuff. So I thought, let me come back. I did enjoy the game. Let me give it another shot, and I'm so glad I did. Now, the first thing that I did want to go ahead and talk about on the reason why I'm addicted to the game and why I've been enjoying it so much is simply the combat, which I spoke about just previously. The combat is top tier for me. It is a 10 out of 10. If you've been on the channel for any amount of time, you know I like fast, you know I like flashy, you know I like saucy, and this game has all of it for me. And whenever I play ZZZ, let me know your thoughts, but every time I play ZZZ and then I go play a different game, other games feel incredibly slow in comparison. It almost feels as if I'm stuck in the mud or I'm in quicksand. It almost feels as if the controls in the game are fighting against me. And then I come back to ZZZ and it feels so fast, flashy, fluid, saucy, all that good stuff that I really enjoy in an ARPG and action game. The game just feels very intuitive, very precise. The button inputs feel very precise. It just, I don't know, it feels top tier for me just in general, in my opinion. And once again, the animations are incredible. The chain attacks are very fun to pull off, and the combat and gameplay is one that I know people will say is easy or button mashy, which is understandable, and it definitely is, right? I think I might have mentioned this before. I think ZZZ is a game where it's as complicated as you want it to be. And what I mean by that, in other words, is that the game can be as easy as you want it to be. So if you want to button mash, you can certainly do that. If you just want to do the EX skill into an ultimate, into more button mashing, by all means, you can do that and have great success just depending on your build and your characters. But if you want to go a little more in depth, if you want to get a little more nuance, you certainly can with this game because it allows you to do that. If you want to pull off some saucy combos, if you want to do stuff that a day one player wouldn't even know you can do, you certainly can. It just takes getting a little more into the kit. It takes knowing the character a little more in depth and diving a little bit deeper, getting a little bit sweatier, pause. So it just really depends, right? It's as complicated as you want it to be, and it's as flashy as you want it to be. But all in all, the gameplay and the combat has always been a 10 out of 10 for me. And with this new release of Miyabi, I'm telling you, this character, if you haven't tried her, which you should, and if you haven't pulled her, you definitely should. This character feels like a whole new, like patch 1.4 came out and it feels like a whole brand new Endless Zone Zero, right? And Miyabi herself feels in line with a brand new Endless Zone Zero. She feels like no other character, in my opinion. Because she is one that embodies what Endless Zone Zero is, in terms of if you're a beginner friendly player, or she is a beginner friendly player, and if you're a beginner player, you can definitely pick this character up and do really well with her. But if you're a veteran player and you're one that's hardcore, you can do some very flashy stuff with this character and get very deep into the mechanics. And Miyabi just feels so fun to play. And she's incredibly powerful, and she's definitely a must pull in my opinion. I feel as if you need to have this character. It's not necessary, but you definitely would want to get this character because she feels like new Endless Zone Zero. Anyways, I'm moving on from the gameplay and the combat because that's one aspect for it. Really quickly, just to let you know, for me personally, what engrosses me into a game or has me addicted into a game, it needs to really have the trifecta effect for me. And what the trifecta effect for me is is gameplay and combat needs to be there, character design needs to be there, and then the content needs to be there. So if the gameplay and the combat is really smooth, very fun, very fast and flashy, the character design is top tier, and if the content is there, endgame content for you to take on to test your skills and to test your build, then that is what gets me engrossed in the game and gets me addicted. And I feel as if ZZZ has done that better than most gacha games, in my opinion. Anyways, so we talked about the combat and gameplay. Let's go ahead and move on to the character design. And I think the character designs in this game are subtle. I think they're unpretentious. I think they're attractive. I think they are not over the top, but they're very classy. Is there some fan servicey? Yeah, there is. I mean, that is to be expected in gacha games as of late nowadays. But I don't think it's over the top fan servicey. I know a lot of people call ZZZ a gooner game, which I could see that, you know, with some of the animations and some of the poses and the end poses and wind screens, right? It's definitely there. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because I think they do it in a pretty classy way, if you ask me. I don't think it's like, you know, too degenerate, at least in my opinion, right? Let's take Miyabi once again as a prime example. If we go over to Miyabi and we just go through her character design, first and foremost, I think it's a very good character design. I think it fits her personality. It's a no nonsense, down to business, we're going to clap cheeks and take names type of design. But at the same time, you know, it's there, right? And it's a very subtle look. But if we move over to somebody, let's say for example, I guess Yu Yuan is a very good example, a very classy, subtle look, right? She's dressed for her job, but at the same time, some of the poses, some of the animations, right? Especially some of those trailers, they'll definitely the fan service is there. But once again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Yanagi is, I think, top tier, 10 out of 10 design when it comes to Yanagi. I think she embodies ZZZ to the fullest. And then we have Bernice. You know, but I think these characters look great. I think their designs look great. Some obviously better than others, but even male and female, they both look great. And that's one thing that I enjoy about the game. We take a look at Lighter. Man, looks fantastic in my opinion. Hiramasa, love my boy Hiramasa, saucy as all can be. But a very, you know, subtle look. It's not, for me, once again, not over the top, right? And they just have very unique designs as well with some of these characters. But I think they all look great. I think they've done a great job with them. And then we have future characters to look forward to, like Astra and Evelyn. Evelyn, by the way, Miyabi's the GOAT right now, but when Evelyn drops, Evelyn's the GOAT. She could be absolute dog water when it comes to her kit and her damage, but she is a must pull in my opinion for me. She will be built and she will do work. Anyways, that's a side tangent for another day. I'm talking about them probably in another video. But anyways, character design, I think it's great. Once again, unpretentious. I think it's very attractive. I think it's subtle, but I don't think it's over the top. But I think they did a good job with it. Anyways, moving on from there, the last thing to go ahead and really talk about, in my opinion, are the content and then the kits for these characters as well. So the content has been incredibly fun. They've been putting out more endgame content. They've been putting out different types of endgame content, but they also have content for casual players to take on and to try out. So I just hope that they continue to build and improve on what we have, and then continue to provide new ones for us to partake in. I love doing the different modes that they have available. The events have been fun to take in part of. 1.4 as a whole has been great in terms of content, and then the removal of the TVs, my goodness, has that been a godsend and a blessing that they listened to that feedback of removing the TVs. I didn't think they were going to, because it seemed as if they were dead set 10 toes down on that one, but I'm glad they moved one of those pinky toes up and was like, hey, listen, TVs, yeah, they're pretty bad, because they really took you out of the gameplay of this game, because that is what Zenless Zone Zero is all about, is the gameplay and the combat. And that was a very minor part where the TVs took up the majority, and then it just led to a bad overall experience in my opinion personally. So them removing that and giving us more combat and gameplay, and then implementing the trailers, my goodness, the trailers for this game is spot on as well. I think some of the best in gacha. I'd want more trailers, that would be great. They're just a top tier, chef's kiss. But I think all of that has led to more pros than cons, where before it's more cons than pros when it comes to ZZZ. And I think that's why more people are really enjoying this game as well, now able to experience the best parts of this game rather than the worst parts, if that makes sense. And then just last thing to talk about why I really enjoy this game as well is the kits for the characters. They're you know, they're not overly complicated, but they are very nuanced. And what I mean by that is if we take a look at Miyabi right here, you know, if you take a look at her kit, these are short, light novels, right? But this is kind of a Hoyoverse thing, per se. They kind of like overfluff things in general, just with everything. They just put way too much fluff, too much fat, and they need to just trim some of this. But if you take a look at it, like, there's a lot in here for you to learn about this character, but it's not so overly complicated to where you can't read between the lines and get the gist of it, and just be able to kind of run with Miyabi and let her do her thing. And with other characters, right, you just kind of pick them up and let them go. But if you want to get nitty gritty, if you want to fully understand this character, and you want to, you know, be able to showcase the difference between somebody that just picked up Miyabi for the first day and never read her kit versus somebody that has been playing her for hours and know her kit very well, you certainly can be able to see those differences, right? So kit wise, I think they're very in depth, and I think they can be explored very deeply, but I don't think they're overly complicated to where you can't just play and have fun, right? If that makes sense, and do well, right? Until you hit probably some of the harder content, and then you need to know about team building and how to play really optimally and skillfully. But anyways, guys, I'm just telling you, I'm having a very, very good time with this game. I'm quite addicted. I'm going to be putting out much more Triple Z content, because then I saw the future characters that are coming out, Astra, Evelyn. My goodness, those characters look good, and I cannot wait to see more characters in the future that they put out. And so I just want to cover this game heavily. I want to be able to provide a lot of content, and hopefully good content, right? Like this type of content where we just yap and talk about the game, but also, you know, some content in regards to gameplay. I want to show off some cool gameplay. And maybe do possibly some guides on how you can optimize your characters and things of that nature. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. This game has been peak, absolutely peak so far, but that's just my opinion and my thoughts. I would love to hear yours down below. Anyways, I'm gonna get on out of here. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name's Cody, you call me Further. I'll see you all next one. Bye, guys.